Um, Without taking more time, we would kickstart this panel discussion, which is on a very interesting topic about the next phase of enterprise engagement. And as somebody who's keenly working on the global enterprise business, I'm really interested to hear my co-panelists talk. Just to introduce them, Anuradha Gupta, who's sitting right next to me, is the co-founder and CEO of Amantya Tech. John Chua is Strategic Carrier Relationship Head for Twilio. Hemant Sud is the Head of Communication Solution at TransUnion. Nalin Singh is MD, Cultus India and CEO, Orbit Future Academy, Jakarta. Anurag Aggarwal is the CBO for LMS. So where does this topic come from? So we have all witnessed that airlines used to send us messages when the flight was delayed, which has now moved to a WhatsApp boarding pass, gate changes, check-in reminders, and support chat. So basically what is happening is what was messaging is becoming a full engagement platform rather than purely a message delivery, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So without taking more time, let me throw a very simple question to my panelists here. What do you think is the enterprise engagement future, or what the enterprise engagement will look like in a few years' time? And to stir in some controversy, who do you think will lead it? Will it be the telcos, platforms, or enterprises themselves? And I invite Anuradha to maybe start that discussion.
Thanks, Vipul. Thanks for having me here. Glad to be part of this esteemed panel. To your question, Vipul, that where are we really heading towards? So everybody now acknowledges that we are heading towards a very AI-enabled world. So AI is already there, already sitting here. We all have started experiencing it. Now we need to really see the value that we can really extract out of it. So where the enterprises are heading towards is like through channels. There are multiple channels available to reach the customers, to give them the information they need. But now it is more also about that, do we give them that right experience so that there is a stickiness, that they be with you, they avail your services as much they want so that you can monetize them the best. So any experience enabled through AI, whether it is conversational based or it is giving them more value added services, all those things are basically going to be the reality in the coming future. And that's where the enterprise is heading towards, to bring the best of the journey to the customers. Now, who leads this, or who may actually drive it? I think it will be more of an intersection. The platform will play a very key role because they are the technology enablers. So they will bring the right set of tools, right set of solutions that will make the system more effective. Enterprises really need to go through it and design the right experience so that that can be implemented and people get that right experience. Telcos would still be possibly the infrastructure. They will be the people who will give the trust, identity, and the right set of connectivity, right set of quality of experience. So at this intersection, I think the entity which will lead the race will be who will be controlling that decision layer. My take is it will be platforms, because they would be more innovative to bring the right set of experience, but happy to hear everybody else.
John, what's your...
Hi, and thank you everyone, including our organizers, MEF and GTS, for hosting us, all of us here. I like to take a contrarian view, and I feel that the people who will make the difference is actually the consumer. Okay, the consumer will make a difference in the next few years, because as the C part of the CX, right, the CX becomes more and more personalized, all right, that would be a game changer, all right? And from our Twilio research and studies with, on the surveys in the public, we find that 59% of consumers are more willing to buy from a brand that knows them more than their grandmother does. Right? You say your grandmother knows you well, but if the brand knows you well or much better than your grandmother, you're more willing to buy from them. So I like to take that view that the consumer will actually be the next group of people that will make the call.
So Hemant, what's your take? So John has opened up a fourth dimension. So instead of telco, platform, enterprises, it's the consumer who's going to drive. What do you say?
Absolutely. So first of all, thanks for having me here. So I think we should roll everything back a little, okay? If you look at any channel, I think what works, there are three things that make a channel work. So first and foremost is trust. We've spoken a lot about it. Then you have ubiquity, right? So can it reach to as many people as possible? And the last part is how much engagement it can create, right? So in my view, any channel, if you put down right from voice to messaging, RCS, WhatsApp, and you can do it even today, right now, who can tick all these boxes the best will actually win. And tomorrow it could be something else. But whatever or whoever can manage these three aspects the best will actually win this race. And if you today take, and we were having this discussion that one of the OTTs are commanding a lot of premium because in India you can see that they have the ubiquity. They have created some kind of a trust and they also have a lot of engagement to what you said earlier, right? Yeah. So if we can fix that puzzle and whatever channel fixes that puzzle is going to be the clear winner in my opinion. Thanks.
Very diplomatic.
I will take a little more provocative view and a layperson's view. So three things, right, to succeed. We keep talking about enterprise. What about the consumer? In India, we often say our standard of living has gone up, but our quality of life has come down. It's the same with our engagement with all customer service platforms. Number of channels have gone up, but the quality of engagement has fallen. How many of us enjoy speaking to a bot? How many of us enjoy going on and on about pressing buttons and it says your query is solved and you're wondering, solved what? I'm still stuck. So number one, we need unified, interoperable, open networks where everything works seamlessly. You can throw whatever technology, whatever name you call it, WhatsApp, SMS, CPAP, whatever you call it. That's one. Second, you need intelligence, where you get contextual answers. Now, AI is being talked about in that fashion because typically queries are of four types. What, how, why, what if. What is this? How does it work? Why it works like this? What if I do this? The first three technology can take care of right away. The what if, AI depends on quality data. We don't have that. And it has still a way to go. We are unnecessarily getting overexcited like we got excited with SMS, internet, etc. Look where it is now. It'll take time. The third thing which has been beaten to death today is trust. One of the panelists this morning made a very telling remark which shows the mentality of trust. Put it in context. The oldest and the biggest private bank has just had its chairman resign for ethical reasons. 200-year-old industry compared to a 30-year-old industry. An industry where security was inbuilt, an industry where security is bolted on, an industry which evolved from industry 1 to 4.0. Here you are on 5G in 30 years. What trust? What was the remark this morning? Gullible people press a link and get scammed. So what? Next time you're going to give us SIM card after IQ and EQ test? What a stupid remark. What do you mean gullible people? Gullible people don't have a right to take your services? Don't have a right to live? Are you only going to filter people on intelligence? So when the attitude towards trust and security is like this, how will it succeed? Where will it go? People who will succeed ultimately will be the people who master the trust component of it. Right now, it is at a low. All of us are users. You know how many scam calls you get, etc. I heard another remark in another panel that said, India is a large country with so much population, et cetera, and so many problems. Some amount of fraud will happen. So do rapes and murders. Do you like it? How can you say that? Be responsible. People who are responsible, act ethically, and win trust will win.
Thank you, Nalin. So I think the third point you made, trust, is also the point which leads to the first one, which is the number of channels. I mean, because you cannot trust a single channel that you lead to a lot of channels. And that is where your passion on trust and your very, very valid points come in. Anurag, what's your take on this?
Yeah, firstly, I must compliment. I think having Nalin on the last panel is very good because he's assimilating the key learnings from all the panels from the morning. So anybody who wants a quick recap and, like they say, the SAR of the entire day that's coming out. So thank you for that, Nalin. Thank you, Vipul and team MEF and GTS for having me here. Wonderfully conducted as always. Very frankly, if you ask me, my straight answer is the platform. I'll go with what Anuradha also said. Between the enterprise, the platform, and the operator. Yesterday, we were having this MEF roundtable. John, you were there. Hemant, you were there. One very important word that came out was orchestration. Now, who orchestrates? You know, repeatedly that word kept coming out, orchestration, orchestration. I feel the only, the partner in the entire value chain, in the ecosystem, who can actually orchestrate is the platform provider. Sadly, the enterprises are at the receiving end of whatever is offered to them on a plate. If you offer them a uni-channel platform, that's what comes up to an operator. Tomorrow you start adding multi-channels, it becomes a multi-channel platform. You add a level of intelligence, it becomes an omni-channel platform. You add an AI element, now that's adding another level of orchestration. I was talking to some of the members outside and we were discussing about Agentic AI coming as a layer between your human agents, your live agents, and your conversational AI, the basic chatbot layer. So that's the level of improvisation happening by the platform player. So unequivocally, I would say that it's the platform provider. The operator, let's take Airtel for example. I feel Airtel, when they are getting into this space, they are not acting as an operator. In my view, they are acting as a platform provider. So any operator also getting into this space is becoming a platform provider rather than being the traditional conventional operator, as we call it. And the enterprise finally will be the one who will drive the consumption.
Perfect. I think that makes a lot of sense, Anurag, that when you differentiate the platform and the operation, then you're really a platform provider, which is true for Airtel, Telin, I mean, all the other people we've had today talk as well. Very, very valid. So after all the takes about diplomacy and not so diplomacy, let's move on. So Anuradha, you know, we are moving towards a world where communication capabilities, messaging, voice, APIs become one programmable layer, or you still see them operating as separate channels?
So if I see the current scenario, it is still separate channels. What is the intent now is to unify them. Unify them for the reasons that you get the best ROI for whatever efforts the enterprises are going to put. How the enterprise will do that, that's where the technology enablers like us will come into play. Whether we bring in agentic AI systems, automations, better controls, better guardrails, all of it. But it has to be, the unified experiences has to be created and yet to be created. So from that perspective, I would like to say that currently the enterprises have these channel-based systems which are the legacy systems. Now it will not be a rip and replace that someone will design a new software and that will come and that will start giving a unifying experience. So that orchestration has to play a very big role so that there is a unifying experience is gradually created. Technology enablers will make it happen how enterprise want to approach it. And the consumers who are really informed nowadays, who want that kind of an experience, will influence the entire thing over here.
Thank you, Anuradha. So it is essentially channels is what we understand. So John, when the enterprises actually design their engagement today, are they still also thinking channels, or are they truly designing customer journeys first? What is your view?
Yeah, the short answer is that they are designing customer journeys. What's in the past, Twilio used to be like a vending machine, right? oh, I want SMS, click, and then the SMS, and we had individual APIs for that, right? And then you want voice, you click. So that's sort of like a vending machine mentality. I think going forward, when you have a single platform that, I'm just using the buzzwords again, right? Like orchestration. When you have a single CEP or customer engagement platform, on top of that, you add AI, and on top of that, you add agentic AI. That becomes like a brain. If I use another analogy, then that becomes the brain. And the channels becomes like the ears, the eyes, the mouth, right? And the ear cannot say to the eyes, I have no need of you. You know what I'm saying? We work together, right? So the brains act on behalf of the channels to send where it's most appropriate. And I like to use the word personalization again because it is how the channels will work. All right? When you understand the customer or the consumer, the brand understands the consumer, it will take all kinds of approach that is suitable for you. Those of you who have been to my presentations either this week or in times past have watched a animation. I call it Jacob for short. I'm happy to share it with you, to show it to you. So come to me after this, at the pool table there, and I can share with you, what it means by true orchestration when a single platform works with different signals, all right, and channels, all right, to demonstrate personalization to the end user, or in this case, the consumer.
Right, John, so I think very well said. So Hemant, I mean, we understand whether it is individual channels or whether the journey is being seen as one by the end customer, but we see a lot of fraud rise as well across channels. So do you think that enterprise communication will be defined by trust and identity than by innovation on the channel themselves?
Yeah, see, I think we've all mentioned this time and again, a channel without trust is no channel at all, right? So I think from that perspective, trust definitely, and then to Nalin's point, it is maybe sometimes overhyped. But I'll just give you a case. In some of us as industry folks, I won't name because that will be very contentious, but two large telcos in India were fighting because one of them had a suspected spam come in, and the other telco was saying that, hey, these are my enterprise customers, why are you spam tagging them? And now both were very happy in one sense that the person or the telco which was spam tagging said, see, I've done such a great job. The other telco was saying that, oh, look, I've taken these guys to court. But look at the trust from a customer perspective. Here's this enterprise who's trying to call its customer, right? Enterprise can't reach out. The consumer is seeing a spam tag. The trust is lost, and the telcos are still pretty happy about what they've achieved, right? So if you look at this entire ecosystem, and when we look at it as an industry as well, it's extremely, extremely important that how do we categorize this trust, and basically every channel, until unless it has the trust quotient, I think it just loses its essence.
I think that's a very important and a point that we've not come across so far, that trust is good, but where do you draw the line? I mean, trust and identity, but can you take it on to another level and lead to a poor customer experience as well? I think, Hemant, what you shared is really insightful. Nalin, taking up from there, from an enterprise perspective, do businesses really want more channels, or they are looking for a simple, unified engagement platform?
Do any of you want one more payment channel or one more quick delivery app? 10-minute one? Nobody wants it. Consumer doesn't want it. But if you look at the number of channels question, when I was a kid, the only way of getting news was newspaper. When radio came, they said newspaper will be dead. Then TV came, they said radio will be dead. Then internet came, they said TV will be dead. OTT came, they said all the channels will be dead. They're all there. Why? Human beings take time to adopt. Change takes place slowly. In privileged circles and rooms like this, change takes place faster in your mind than reality. It takes decades for change. Today, we are faced with much more rapid change because of AI, but it will still take longer than we think. That's one. Second, looking at trust, the two industries that have all our lifetime data is banking and telecom. How did banking build trust? Why do you put your money in a bank? The government of India gives you a guarantee. If there's a fraud, you'll get a refund up to a certain amount in a scheduled bank. Your credit card fraud, you get a refund. If I get defrauded on a telecom operator's platform, do I get a refund? Why not? Why don't I get insured? You have fundamentally sold it to corporate greed. We should accept it. Now we are faced with a situation which is people are using it because of TINA. There is no alternative. But believe me, like every other industry, the capex-heavy telecom industry will get disrupted by something which will be capex light and will put all of us out of jobs, just like we're enjoying agentic AI. We will not enjoy it at that time.
Thanks, Nalin. So I still like to consume my news with the newspaper.
I said I will be
Very provocative.
So Anurag, taking up from there. So we are seeing a growth in volumes, but not in revenues. So to close the loop on the entire discussion that we've been having, what is the fundamental change that is needed in the business model to get revenues and not volumes?
Yeah, well, again, Matt had in fact brought this up yesterday as what we called it the messaging paradox in India, where volumes are increasing, but value is not coming out at the moment. I will actually take a leaf out of what John, you had said yesterday, because that really struck a chord. And forgive me, but I'm actually going to copy it blatantly. So there was a very interesting concept that John mentioned that's happening in Twilio right now, the buzzwords, the three-letter buzzwords, so STP. He spoke about that in Twilio today, the communication is best if it's simple. B, a very highly abused word here, trust. And the third is that it's personalized. And anybody, and once again, I'll go back to the platform provider out here. It's the platform provider who holds the key to infusing the value within this ecosystem. The operator, again, in the most traditional sense, is acting as an infrastructure provider. The enterprise is always ready with demand if you're able to offer it something. The key value can only be unlocked by the intermediary, which is the platform player out here. And it is the platform player's job to ensure that communication is created which is simple, trusted, and personalized. I think India, and for that matter globally, we are embarking on that journey of trying to balance all these three levers in some way of some sense it's happening. But primarily what's happening is that India is an anomaly. It's a different animal altogether. We are the only market in the world where RCS has had to see red, roll back, and do a second rollout. Globally, that was the only market. Why? Because value was being eroded. There were humongous volumes which came out in 2022, 23, when RCS was rolled out. So that's a perfect example of high volume, but extremely low value. What did Google do? What did the operators do? They went back, they held back, they re-engineered and came back. Have they solved the puzzle yet? No. Yesterday there was so much discussion about RCS still being a spammy channel, right? So there's humongous volume, but the value is not yet being unlocked. So I think what's the key to bring in value beyond volume is to bring in these three levers, which John, you very articulately put yesterday, and ensuring that you are able to orchestrate them. Maybe I'm sort of just like a stuck radio, I'm saying the same thing. But I think if you're able to put in the right customer experience through these three levers and be able to enhance customer experience, I think value will keep coming out. So it's a constant process, but it's important to go beyond the per message billing concept to something where all these three levers are well played out.
Right, pretty interesting. So we're short on time, but I'd like to go around once more for a quick bite on some topics. So Anuradha, from you, how ready is the telecom and platform ecosystem to support AI-driven multimodal engagement that we are talking about at scale in the current market?
So we are getting ready with telecom when it is 5G, and now we are talking of 6G coming up, which means those kinds of speeds and connectivity infrastructure is there that will ensure a real-time or near real-time communication to take place. But with the experience is not homogeneous right now because the connectivity is not uniformly distributed across the geographies and regions. So the right kind of quality of service, right kind of real-time experience, for that the infrastructure layer has to improve, possibly with 6G and SATCOM, whatever we are talking about, telcos will go there. From a platform perspective, yes, the platform people are designing the right kinds of solutions, and I would say technology is going really faster than when it comes to adaptation of it. So technology is really going, technology is able to understand that what is needed, and accordingly the technology people are working towards it. From enterprise, it is not just about consuming the technology. There is a lot of compliance requirement, regulatory requirements. Just adapting AI would not suffice because AI also has to be accountable. So who really judges that the AI is accountable or not? Someone in the previous panel said that through voice you can also find the customer sentiment, that how the person is reacting towards the conversation and takes a decision. But is that decision correct or not? There has to be auditability of that AI system also. So those kinds of things have to come into picture so that enterprise get ready to adapt and bring that right kind of a solution. The right set of efforts are going towards that readiness, but I really take it that we will soon be reaching to some point.
Thank you, Anuradha. So, John, building up from there, so we see AI-led use cases for messaging and voice both. At the same time, in a country like India, there are strict regulations to control spam, which may affect legitimate traffic as well, which is what the point that Hemant made as well. So how do the platforms and industry players work with regulators to enable innovation while still protecting the customer? So it's, balancing the two.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I really don't know how to answer it. It's a problem that I've been in discussion the whole day yesterday with one of the operators. It's a challenge that I'm facing right now. It's a big pain point for me. But as it is, I think we like the overused word trust, and I think the whole ecosystem has to work together. In the US, we were planning to put in sort of a trusted identity for voice into the system, so that when operators and carriers receive the voice traffic, they know that this comes from originated from a trusted system. But in India, I guess we have to start with something very simple, and I've done some options with one of the carriers this week. I also want to see that there needs to be a lot more education, all right, by industry players like ourselves, plus industry groups like MEF, like GSMA, or whatever, COAI, to the regulator who may be still living in a legacy space. So I've highlighted this to my internal teams that let's work together for India. It's a huge market for us. I love this place, right? And I really like to see it going to a higher space than where we are right now.
Hemant, any additional words on that? I mean, what do we do differently with regulators to enable innovation and strengthen trust?
Yeah, see, again, I can tell you from maybe a TransUnion example from US, and then, in US, some of us would be knowing there are a lot of technologies which are prevalent. You have stir shaken, which is more like a caller identity authentication. John mentioned about the branded calling, which is now gaining a lot of ground over there. I think all these are innovation flavors added to that trust part of it. I think this entire ecosystem definitely has to evolve in terms of now FCC is, by the way, regulating the branded calling part or thinking of doing it. But I think the important part is that, again, we as industry, I think we will get a lot of options with the technology. We will have a lot of innovation. But some of this self-regulation that was spoken about earlier also, I think that is very, very important for the industry. You will get more technologies, you will get more innovation through AI coming in, but how do you want to create and set those guardrails, right, before regulation or the regulator comes in and says that these are the checks and balances, and then you feel that, oh, we are so stifled, right? I think as an industry, at least some of the responsible members of the industry, I think we have to set those guardrails for ourselves, that we are protecting the consumers, we are basically looking at the benefit of enterprises. Otherwise, always asking the regulator to step in, then you will always say that they are treading on our toes and they are not giving us the leeway. So
No,
that
agree.
is my belief.
No, agree. I think Hemant well said. So let's put the guardrails ourselves before having somebody clamp down and put something on us. Nalin, very quickly, how ready are the enterprises in this whole piece?
Pardon?
How ready are the enterprises in terms of data governance, customer trust?
I think it's ripe for disruption. If you see every capex-heavy industry, whether it's mobility with Uber, Ola, e-commerce with Flipkart, Amazon, or the fintech for banking, something like that will happen here also. This morning, Mr. Kocher made a very candid remark about how 5G was launched. It reminded me of a saying my boss told me many years ago. Just because you stick a candle on cow dung, it doesn't become cake. So, when you may change the number from 4 to 5, if actual delivery is not there, it doesn't work. I think the old telecom companies are not ready at all for what's coming. Everybody's getting excited about AI without thinking that one day it'll eat up their own job. They're excited because low-level jobs are going. AI is not an add-on. It is a complete ecosystem on its own. Companies will build solutions right from bottom up, which will be so cheap, capex light, that it will make a mockery of whatever we have spent money on so far. It's just the way it is. It's not good or bad.
So we are out of time, Anurag, but just a very, very quick word on what the enterprises are truly willing to pay for all this.
What the enterprises are?
Are truly willing to pay for, trust, security, verified interaction. Are the enterprises willing to pay?
At least I think from a cultural, geographic context, I think in India, trust is still very cheap. It doesn't have much value. So I think at least in India, in case if you're offering something which adds a layer of trust, speaking out of experience, I worked with Tanla platforms where we were actually offering a solution which was blockchain and cryptographic, end-to-end cryptography enabled. Everybody pushed back saying we are not going to pay 1 paisa extra for it. So I really don't see enterprises really coughing up money right now for trust. Sadly, trust is still very cheap in India.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, we have a question.
Hello. Yeah. Great discussion. Very quickly, 2 points. One is you have mentioned various forms of engagement over there, voice, SMS, and all that, to engage the consumer. But is there a way to bring these all together to identify that I have targeted this consumer through voice 2 days back? Now I'm sending RCS, so that you have a complete picture of that particular person, and you can accordingly give personalized offers in future. So our enterprise is doing it, one. Secondly, tomorrow they are saying enterprises will have Agentic AI. Consumers also will have Agentic AI. So I'll have 2-3 agents who will talk to your agent and the purchase would be done. Then at that stage, how will engagement happen between the 2 agents? How will enterprises evolve to take care of that?
Anybody willing to take that? Okay, we have.
Yeah, maybe I'll just answer the first part. I think in terms of what is best for the consumers, in terms of the channels, right? And I think there was this discussion on Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and their patterns are so different. I think the platforms have enough intelligence and they'll get more and more intelligent. I think to that point, even John mentioned that Twilio, from a kind of a vending machine, has a very, very different orchestration engine now. So obviously they are looking at these insights depending on what enterprises want, to the kind of the consumers they want to reach to. I think that intelligence is definitely coming. To the second part, I think at least from my side, the answer would be as ambiguous to some extent as the question in terms of what will happen when agents talk to agents. Well, Maybe the
think,
agents, AI agents will tell what will happen. But these things are evolving very, very quickly. The way we are thinking, I think the things are evolving. So I'm very, very sure even the agents, will already have a pattern and the intelligence to understand which agent communicates better with them. So that's how they'll form their ROIs. So that is at least a belief that we have.
Hemant, let's get Alexa to talk to Siri, and then we'll know what happens when agent
but,
talks to agent.
I think technically that question, if I may say so, I mean, you're talking about agent to agent. That's like what we say M to M, machine to machine communication. Whereas I think the platform is more about B2C. It's business to end consumer communication. So I don't think that will be so relevant in terms of one AI agent talking to another one. It's about how you will interact with the agent and how the agent will interact back with you. So I think that human element will always have to be there in the entire equation.
Okay, that'll be all for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for this. Sorry.
I didn't quite catch the second question, but I think I roughly know what you're referring to. If you have Perplexity or Gemini now, you can just look up this, who is Stitch, STYTCH. Yeah, it's a company that we just bought over 4 months ago.
Thank you, John, and thank you, everybody. My co-panelists, thank you so much for this interesting discussion, and thank you, everybody present here.